And it came to pass that as my father arose in the morning and went forth to the tent door, to his great astonishment, he beheld on the ground a round ball of curious workmanship, and it was of fine brass. And within the ball were 2 spindles, and one of them pointed the direction we should go into the wilderness. Now war and man-made means of destruction could not confuse or destroy that curious compass. Neither could the sudden desert sandstorms render useless its navigational power. As the prophet Alma explained, this Liahona, as it was called, was a compass, and it worked for them according to their faith and pointed the way they should go. Now, just as the Lord provided a Liahona to Lehi, that same Lord provides for you and for me a rare and priceless gift. It will give direction to our lives. It will point out the hazards in our journey. It will chart our course and give us safe passage to our heavenly home. The gift to which I refer is your patriarchal blessing. Your blessing. Yours and yours alone. It will be as a Liahona to point you to your heavenly home. It is available to every worthy member of the church. Your patriarchal blessing is actually a personal revelation to you, the recipient. A white line right down the center of the road to motivate, to inspire, to encourage activity and faithfulness. Your patriarchal blessing contains chapters out of your book of eternal possibilities. I use the word eternal advisedly, for just as life is eternal, so a patriarchal blessing is eternal. Those promises not fulfilled in this life may well be fulfilled in the next. We do not govern God's timetable. Remember the word of the Lord, for my thoughts are higher than your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Your patriarchal blessing, actually, is not to be tucked away in a corner, neatly folded. It is not to be published. It is not to be framed. Your blessing is to be read. It is to be cherished. It is to be followed. It may be short, it may be long, it may be simple, it may be profound. Length and language do not a patriarchal blessing make. It is the spirit of the blessing which provides the meaning. Your patriarchal blessing will protect you. As I have indicated, your patriarchal blessing will be a Liahona to chart your course and to guide your way.
Patriarchal blessings should be read humbly, prayerfully, and frequently. Patriarchal blessing is a very sacred and personal, but it may be shared with close family members. It is a sacred guideline of counsel, promises, and information from the Lord. However, a person should not expect a blessing to detail all that will happen to him or her, or to answer all questions. The fact that one's patriarchal blessing may not mention an important event in life, such as a mission or marriage, does not mean that it will not happen. In order to receive the fulfillment of our patriarchal blessings, we should treasure in our hearts the precious words they contain, Ponder them and so live that we will obtain the blessings in mortality and a crown of righteousness in the hereafter. Our blessings can encourage us when we are discouraged, strengthen us when we are fearful, comfort us when we sorrow, give us courage when we are filled with anxiety, and lift us up when we are weak in spirit. Our testimonies can be strengthened every time we read our patriarchal blessings.
President Harold B. Lee told of calling a patriarch. He and the stake president had gone to the man's home. He'd been out with his sons on the welfare farm all day and was tired and weary and covered with grime. President Lee said, "I made him more weary when I told him what it was I'd come for." He was to be called as the patriarch to that state. After the morning session of conference, where the man had borne a remarkable testimony, they went to a basement office. The stake president's wife was present and wrote to President Lee, "As you walked over to put your hands on his head, I thought to myself, he's a man with whom we socialize. We've gone to trips with him and dances. Now part of his responsibility is to declare the lineage from each one has come will receive the blessing. He hasn't been a student of ancient languages. How's he going to know? You walked over and put your hands on his head, and a light came from behind you and went right through you and into him. And I thought to myself, isn't that a strange coincidence that the sunlight has come in just at that moment? Then I realized there was no window, no sunlight. I was witnessing the answer to my question. That light came from somewhere beyond Brother Lee and went through Brother Lee into this patriarch. Then I knew where he was going to get the information, by revelations from Almighty God. And so it must be, whenever a patriarch is ordained or pronounced a blessing, that same light, though it may be unseen, is present. It empowers a patriarch to declare lineage and to give prophetic blessings, notwithstanding that he himself may be a man of very ordinary capacity.